Okay. All right. We'll just cut out the beginning. You good?
Okay.
PJ, you good?
You're good?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Start us off, Jared.
It started. I'll just cut the beginning. Welcome to Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O. We have a very special guest, PJ Hairston, former Tar Heel, former NBA player, and more recently been telling more of his story, which I think is great because you don't hear that sometimes, and you don't get to hear from the people that sometimes there's a narrative out there, and then it's like kind of unfair. It just kind of stays out there, and then you don't hear the other side of it. And we may have lost him for just 1 second, but
I think we did.
If somebody called him, I don't know, he might be there. You know how it goes with that's the only bad thing about that. He's there. He's good. Yeah. So real quick, before we get started, PJ, my experience with you has been positive, and that's the other side.
I can't.
You can't hear us?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. My experience with you has been very positive. Years ago, your mom invited me. No, not your mom. That was later. We went to Late Night with Roy. And my daughter, Ava, who's now 16, she was 5 at the time. And you took a picture with her, and she just couldn't believe it,
That's
and
still one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah.
That's still one of my favorite pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, she couldn't believe it. And she was a young Tar Heel at the time. And now she's 16. And we look at that picture sometimes. But then I had a friend that had a tragedy and lost his pregnant wife and son at a boating accident in High Rock Lake. And we invited you to come out and Kendall Marshall and Reggie Bullock. And you were going through some, the press wasn't good around you. And you could have easily said, I'm not coming. Johnny, not only did he come, he was there first. And he stayed until everyone if they want to talk to him, get autographs. We did this thing because of rules with Carolina in college basketball. He couldn't technically be playing on the court, and neither could the NBA guys. And he was shooting. We made a 5-point shot. He was shooting like 8 feet, like out of bounds. Like they was passing the ball out of bounds. But there was people playing, and then he'd be out of bounds on the wings and just killing these threes. Yeah. And so my experience with PJ has been very positive, and I appreciate you joining our podcast. I just wanted to say that right off the bat.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. So, Johnny, you want to share your thing real quick?
Real quick, let me just do our title sponsor real quick, and then we'll get right into it. Title sponsor, Estate Jewelry and Loan. Something old, something new. Estate Jewelry has a great selection of new and estate jewelry, and you can really find a unique piece for any occasion. Brian's showroom is beautiful and has lots to choose from. It's a very cool little local jewelry store over on Battleground. You can check them out at estatejewelryloan.com. And also Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill, located in High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro in the Target Shopping Center on New Garden Road. He's got a food truck, catering, daily specials, salsaritas.com. Those are our title sponsors.
All right. But so, PJ. Yeah,
I actually do have a couple good memories of this guy, man. And I just realized how long ago it was, man. And it's kind of, obviously I'm getting a little older as well, but I can't believe PJ's 32 years old because when I had the sports magazine, Sports Carolina Monthly, I did a couple different articles on him when he was at Dudley High School. And he was like a class athlete back then, man. He was like 16, 17 years old. So it was a nice experience. Now look at him, man. He's he was built like that back then, though, from what I remember. So that was good stuff.
I call it seasoned. We're all seasoned here.
Well, yeah. Oh, trust me. Oh my gosh, dude. It just, yeah. You're well seasoned. We're like overly seasoned. Johnny's about done.
Come on, man.
I think me and Johnny are at the age where we could drop dead at any moment. But so PJ, what's your Carolina experience been about? If you want to talk about a little bit about that, and obviously you've seen it. I saw it. Theo Pinson went in on Rashad McCants. Rashad McCants was, obviously saying some really negative things about Carolina basketball, and I know you didn't have the perfect experience, because I remember Roy Williams was saying, or I heard in press or rumors that going into that your last year at Carolina that you were the best shooter he's ever coached. Ever coached. I remember reading that somewhere and people talking about it, and I was like, I couldn't wait for the season to start. And then the season didn't work out the way you wanted. But I mean, of all the players he's ever coached, including Michael Jordan, you're the best shooter he's ever coached. So if you can go through your experience, and then what is it like to be a part of the Tar Heel family? And then you see someone like Rashad McCants and then Theo Pinson kind of going back and forth, and Raymond Felton.
So that's the thing, when you're a Tar Heel alumni, current, whatever, committed, had not signed yet, whatever, you're a part of the family, and you know that's the key word, family. So when you go outside the family and you disrespect the culture, you disrespect the coaches, you disrespect your former teammates, like at some point there has to be a line drawn, and I think Theo drew that line because it's but so much the alumni can say, because you got to think all of those guys are ex NBA athletes, so they can't really go on the record and really say what they want to say to him, and obviously Rashad McCants is a loose cannon. He's going to say whatever. He's going to try to get a response out of whoever he can, and with Theo being the youngest alumni, I feel now that has played in the NBA, he's got to say so. And I feel like he said everything that everybody wanted to say.
Yeah. Well, and Theo,
co-signed, he said.
I'm sorry. Theo's got such a great personality too, so he kind of knows how to throw it out there.
Because it makes you laugh a little bit, and then it also makes you realize how serious he is too.
Sure.
Yeah, because when he went in on him, and I was like, I mean, I didn't go there, but being a fan, they won that championship in 2005, and McCants was an integral part to that and really played big, at least I believe in the first half against Illinois to win that championship with May and those guys. But it was funny. He went in on him, and like people were laughing. And then it was like, oh, he's getting serious. And then they cut to Raymond Felton. They're like, what do you want to say? And he was like, well, and he's like a little more reserved, and he kind of co-signed on it. But what was your experience like at Carolina?
I mean, I loved it. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. Like I went to Dudley High School, so I was always used to people being around me, people kind of having my back, and people cheering for me, like basketball wise. And once I got to Carolina, it was just like, wow, like what is it? Because you meet so many people, like you meet so many fans, like you don't really realize how many people have watched you for so long. And when I got there, it was new to me because obviously coming in, you're coming from high school, from being the man, and my freshman year, not a lot of people can say it, but I played behind Hairston born, so so I knew going in, like, okay, you're not the man. Like, you're gonna have to take the back seat a little bit on this one. But I knew my time would come, so I just stayed the course and kind of just watched the guys that were ahead of me, because that starting five my freshman year, everyone went to the draft. I believe everyone got drafted, so it was really fun to watch, honestly, and and then you get to know them as people, and that's the even better part, because y'all have like this relationship, your teammates with these guys, like it. So my experience, I mean, I just felt like it was home always. Like I was 40 minutes from Greensboro and I barely went home because I was always comfortable there.
That's
great.
That
now, a lot.
Quick question, like when you went in as a freshman behind the Harrison Barnes and having all those guys ahead of you, as you were going through it, did you have a couple of the players, kind of maybe a couple of the upperclassmen possibly like coaching you along, just saying, hey, just wait your turn, man, wait your turn, your turn's coming?
Yeah, me and Justin Watts are actually related, so that's like, he was like my big brother, like my older cousin, like he was that guy for me. Kind of like tell me, this is what Coach Williams doesn't like, this is what he does. Like, so he would put a bug in my ear a little bit and, talk to me. And even when I was kind of in the doghouse my freshman year, sometimes he would be the one to like, this is what you got to do. Like, so Justin Watts was probably that guy for me. And of course, like the older guys like Kendall, those guys were very vocal, but Justin was more so like the big brother to me out of all of them.
Nice.
Now, let me ask you this, and could be a tough question, touchy question, because Hubert Davis was the assistant coach, right, when you were there. Hubert Davis taken over for Carolina. He's had, the first year, 3 points away from winning national championship, up 16 in the first half. No team has ever lost the championship being up 16. You watched it. We all watched it. As a Carolina fan, like devastated, but, we are also spoiled as Carolina fans. And then it's been up and down. And he doesn't make the tournament. Then he's the 1 seed, and then they don't make the tournament. Then this year is disappointing. Barely made it into the tournament. The transfer portal, it seems like they got some good guys coming in, but it still doesn't feel like at Carolina, like when you were there. It doesn't seem like we're getting all the top prospects. Are you seeing that? Am I seeing that wrong? I know NIL has changed everything. Transfer portal has changed everything. But what is your take on it with Hubert Davis, the coaching staff, the different style of play compared to Roy? That's a tough guy to replace, because I love Hubert Davis as a person. He seems like the greatest person, but sometimes as a fan, I'm like, is he the guy? I don't know.
So I've said this a few times. I just feel like Hubert just really needs his chance, because you also have to look at, RJ Davis's Roy Williams' last recruit. He was one of Roy's last recruits, and he was playing under Coach Davis's system that he had to learn as well. So I just feel like, honestly, give him a chance, because his first year, like you said, we went to national championship. We weren't supposed to be there. The next year, we made the tournament. We were picked to win it, but fell short of Alabama. Then the next year, it was tougher, but then now this past year, you're right. Like it was a struggle, but at the same time, even through that struggle, I guarantee you, every single player on that team would say they love playing for Carolina. They love playing for Coach Davis.
Yeah.
Because Coach Davis, when I was there, I know he instilled confidence in me that made me start shooting the ball the way that I did. And, that's just the type of person he is. He won't give up on you. And that's how Coach Williams was as well. So I just feel like you just give him a chance. Like, he's finally getting his recruits in. He's getting his transfers out of the portal. And we've got a solid 4 good commits out of the portal. I think it's 4 right now. But
yeah,
like you were saying, I get what you're saying. It doesn't feel like the Carolina. Yeah, because I also think it's because we don't run the 2 big lineup anymore. Coach Williams had the 2 big
right.
lineup. We ran the 4 corners at the end of the games. Like, we haven't got that a lot lately with Hubert. Because we've been in a lot of dog fights. We've been in a lot of games we should have won. I believe last year, I might be wrong, but in conference play, I think we lost 6 games decided by 1 possession.
Yeah.
Right.
So you turn those 6 games into wins. We're top 2, 3 in the ACC.
Yeah.
So,
and when Roy was there, y'all constantly were 1 or 2 in the nation in rebounding, offensive rebounding, and then depending on the year, 3-point shooting, we were like towards the bottom this year with 3-point shooting percentage. Got a little bit better towards the end, but we were not the same rebounding team, and that's a problem.
PJ, do you hear that? He's saying we. He's part of the team, man. I love it.
He knows how it is as a fan. So, yeah, Johnny is a Syracuse fan. So
I'm a Syracuse fan. I've been down here in North Carolina for 30 years. I have total respect for the Tar Heels. I know their whole gig. I still love it, but I'm still, I grew up in Syracuse, and we need to get back in the saddle as well. But I think we're getting there. But looking from the outside in at Carolina the last couple of years, all of college basketball has changed, So everyone's kind of going through changes. So I agree that I think Hubert deserves a few more years, especially with his own players, and let's see what happens, man.
Well, and PJ, and you're right, Johnny. I think Carolina was late to the portal. Late to NIL money and having to. it seems like now we're like, okay, we're going to invest in basketball now. I think they were thinking, oh, we just get all the recruits, we'll be fine. What do you think? How do you think the NIL money has changed, and now Carolina with a bigger budget?
Well, I'm probably the okay. So my take on the NIL thing, I'm just gonna say it. I mean, they're basically doing the same thing I was doing. Like, and to be in
Okay.
the and to be in the shoes now and that I'm in and looking at all these athletes and college athletes getting paid all this money, I'm just kind of like, wow. Like, now they wait 10, 11 years later to, oh, let's offer this guy $2 million in a Lamborghini. Like, so looking back on
Yeah.
like my situation with the whole NCAA thing, I think it's stupid. Honestly, I think it's stupid. And, you know, I never really had a love for the NCAA after that. So I honestly didn't really care what they did after that. Because, they took my eligibility away. And that was like the chip in my shoulder that I kind of needed. And it pushed me to work harder because I had to, because that situation basically put me in a situation where I had to work harder and I had to prove that I could be trusted, so uh the whole NIL thing, I mean, it's cool to the guys now, but to guys like me that got in trouble for stuff like that,
Oh,
it's kind of stupid. So I don't care for it. I mean, I'm glad they're getting paid now, but yeah, like looking back on it, it doesn't surprise me because I knew
Well,
one day it would happen.
in your junior year, if the NIL was then, how much money do you think you could have made? How much money do you think you could have commanded?
Honest, from my freshman year, like if it was really going like my freshman year, I'd have been trying to stay 5-6 years too.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like for what? Like I'm 17, 18 years old. You're giving me $800,000 and a car. Like,
And the top man on the campus, I mean, how can you
yeah,
beat
like
that?
why would I want to leave that? Like, why would
Yeah,
we want to leave that? It's guys now making more than guys in the NBA that aren't even 17, well, aren't even 18, 19 years old yet.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but a
No.
lot of guys like yourself from 10, 15 years ago, they got to, you're looking at it like, are you kidding me? I just can't believe the money that's just being thrown at these guys, and they're not signing contracts. Jared and I have talked about that numerous times on this show. They're a free agent every year.
like college basketball is literally like the NBA now.
Yep.
Like, as soon as the season is over, it's like free agency starts. Like, soon as the NCAA tournament or a team that doesn't make the tournament, you'll start getting people entering the portal before conference tournament
I
starts in
know.
like March, and before March Madness starts, and they're already hitting the portal. It was somebody, I want to say it was Scottie Pippen's son, that entered the
Yep.
portal. He entered the portal and his team was still playing.
Still playing.
Yeah. He's like, I'm out.
So,
And yeah, Michigan was good this year. I mean, they could have done,
yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. If you played, and I know it's kind of a hard thing to do, but I'm sure you've thought about it. If you played your junior year, what would that Tar Heel team have been?
My whole point of coming back my junior year was to win a national championship. So
Yeah.
it was either national championship or bust for me. I knew, honestly, coming in my junior year, I knew the workload that was on my shoulders. I knew like I was going to be the guy. Like I knew all of that, but at the same time, a national championship was like the number one thing. So I wasn't going to settle for less if I didn't have to. So, like I said, like my main goal, like that year, like because I definitely could have left and declared like after my sophomore year, like after that ACC tournament I had in Greensboro, I could have left, but something told me. I sat and talked with James McAdoo for a while. We sat in the locker room and talked, and just like the year before, like even my freshman year, me, James, and Reggie talked, and it was just kind of like, are we staying? We going? So we did the same thing the following year because Reggie left my sophomore year, so me and Reggie were supposed to leave the same time, but me and James decided to stay because we won a national championship. And then, then stuff hit the fan, and the rest is history.
Yeah, no, and you're right. It's been totally unfair. It's like just born in the wrong decade. It's just ridiculous. All right, so you make the transition from college basketball at Carolina to the NBA.
Well, wait, but didn't you? He went. Didn't you go play the G League for a little while before you got?
Yeah,
after all of the stuff that happened in Carolina with me being dismissed, I had two options. It was either go play, like, I couldn't play D1 immediately. So in order for me to play like immediately, I would have to play like D2 or D3.
Right.
So at first, the whole thought process was I was just going to come home and play at Winston-Salem State, which was 20 minutes from my house.
Sure.
But then the other option was overseas, and at the time, the D League.
Yeah.
So at that time, I'm just kind of thinking, what's the quickest way to the NBA? Like, how can I get to the league faster? And, that was the way, the D League. And, that was like my foot in the door, because there were NBA scouts at almost every game. So, and the first 5 games of the D League season, I think I averaged like 35 or 40. So
now, am I correct in saying this, that you are the first guy that went to the G League and got drafted into the NBA?
In the first round.
Yeah. Oh, in the first round. I made
history. First ever drafted in the first round to the G League, out of the G League. Yep. So I'll take that to the grave with me.
No, it's awesome. Because when you're a Carolina fan, then having met you with my daughter and different things, and then other things you did for us with my friend and the charity thing, that was so awesome. Rooting for you. But I remember, what was the team you played for in the D League? Was it
Texas Legends.
Texas Legends. I remember following that. It's the first time, because it was kind of new. I'm following D League stats, box scores. I'm like, dang, PJ had 45 last night. I'm like, all right, so he's going to make it. He'll be in the NBA soon enough. Then I watched draft night, and you got drafted. And I was like, I know I don't know you at all, but I was like very happy for you. It was really cool.
First round, man. That's an accomplishment, man. A first rounder. And was that the Rockets, or what was it?
It was Miami, but Miami had traded picks with Charlotte, so I ended up in Charlotte.
That's right, for a couple of years. That was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So explain the transition from going college. I mean, obviously D League, but if we're going from Carolina D League, now you're in the NBA. Like, what was your welcome to the NBA moment? You're like, oh, this is for real.
I'm honestly, what was it? I don't know if it was my rookie year or no. It was my second year when I got my welcome to my NBA moment, because my rookie year I didn't play a lot. And I was pretty banged up my rookie year for the most part. But my second year, I was playing behind Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and he ended up tearing his shoulder up or something, and he was out for a long time, and I was next man up. So I had to be like the defensive stopper. I had to guard the best players on the team. And, my welcome to the NBA moment was my first regular season game in Miami. My coach tapped me on the plane. I was like, hey, you got D Wade tomorrow. So when he told me that, I was like, all right, I just closed my eyes and went back to sleep. But that next night, I was face to face with D Wade right at tip off, and at that moment, it's like so many things are going through my head. Like, wow, I'm really here. Like, you don't think about it until you actually see the stars, and because I had a game. I played in LA. I don't know if I was with Memphis or the Hornets, but I'm warming up. I'm just shooting, and I hear a voice in my ear, but I'm not knowing who it is. Mind you, we're in LA.
I know what you're going to say.
Where I'm literally hearing a voice, and it's me in the corner, and Matt Barnes is on the wing. So he's right between me and Matt Barnes. I look to my right. He's like tapping my shoulder. Guess who it is?
Kobe Bryant, right?
No.
Oh.
Denzel Washington.
No! Even better.
Yes.
It's like my favorite actor of all time.
Denzel Washington. I have the picture, Jared. I have to send you that picture. It's literally, you can see us talking, and it's a clear picture of me, Matt, and Denzel Washington literally on the court in
Oh,
LA.
that's good stuff.
And I was like, Matt's just talking to him. I'm literally staring like,
You're man on fire. I mean, that's
yeah,
just like the
man
greatest-
on fire, training day, like.
Oh my
Oh,
God, the goat.
oh, he's the best. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so that was the first time I was ever really starstruck, other than Kobe, obviously. But
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
because I checked out real quick. I just looked at a couple. I tried to go back on Google and kind of Googled. So Mike Conley was your backcourt mate, I guess. He's still playing, for crying out loud.
right,
When you were with Memphis, and
uh-huh.
you played the Lakers, and you scored. I forget what year it was or whatever, but you had 17 points against the Lakers. Kobe only had 13. You outscored Kobe that game, man.
I made a big deal of that. Now that
Did
I
you
think
really?
about it,
You should.
I made a big deal of that actually. And then we went out to LA. That game in LA, I think I had my career high. So
That's great.
That's
21.
awesome.
I think it was 21.
yeah,
'Cause you guys played almost like back-to-back games or
uh-huh.
something. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, we won't take too much more of your time, but we want to get your thoughts on the NBA playoffs. It seems some of the series have almost been like a throwback to the 90s with how physical it's been. And, I mean, obviously a horrific injury with Jason Tatum. Do you think the Celtics have any chance at this point with him?
Can I interrupt? Can we just do the advertisers real quick and then go into that? Is that cool or what?
Yeah, I was just going to do it at the end since we have a special guest.
Okay. All right, we can do that. Let's do it. Go ahead.
Right. Because we have a lot of advertisers because John's a good salesman. So
Oh, yeah.
I got to make sure they're in, man.
You'll be
Man,
here all night.
but to answer your question, honestly, you can't count them out. They're the champs. And then you have to think how deep they are. The guys that can score if they need to. Like Derek White just hit 7 threes last night.
Yep.
You got Jalen Brown, you got Drew Holiday, you got Porzingis, you got Horford, you got Pritchard coming off the bench. You got who else is over there? Is that it? They got a strong 7-8 man rotation because Luke Cornett is the backup 5 that comes off the bench and he's good. Like you have guys that come in and change the game. And like I was watching something earlier, Jason Williams was on First Take and he was saying how Jalen Brown, this is your $300 million moment. Like he got paid $300 million. This is your moment to step up and show why they paid you this money. Because now there's no Jason Tatum for the rest of the season. Probably a lot of time next year too. So he's gonna have to be that guy and prove that he's worth that $300 million.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And what do you think about the Knicks? Because the Knicks won that game before he got hurt. I mean, they had.
Oh yeah.
But with Jalen Brunson and it's like a team that had no business. I mean, they've been down 14 to 20 points every game.
Or 3
of the 4 games, and they've won.
I've always said if Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Karl Anthony Towns and Obi, what's his name? Obi.
Obi Anunoby.
If those 4 play good, they're gonna always have a high chance to win.
Yep.
And you go look at the stats of that game, look at the point total for those 4 players.
Absolutely. And you throw in Josh Hart,
who does everything other than score. Like some games he'll give you 20, but other games he'll give you 6 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists.
Yep.
Like he's the Draymond Green of their team.
He is.
So,
he's only like 6'5". I mean, he's not even that. He just gets right in there. But man, I'm really hoping. It looks like the door is open anyway for the Knicks. They're up 3-1, and Tatum out and this and that. But sometimes that can catch up to you, man.
They have a serious chance because I don't think Indiana or Cleveland can beat them the way they're playing right now. Honestly,
they're tough, man. I love that trade when they picked up Karl Anthony Towns. I thought that was fantastic. He's had obviously an all-star year, but a top 10 MVP year, I think, big time.
All right, and then in the West, go ahead, Johnny. Sorry.
Real quick, it's a pet peeve of mine. Okay, PJ, you practice. You were in the NBA. Okay, your life was playing basketball, man. You got paid to practice and make sure you're the best you can be. And I like Mitchell Robinson. Don't get me wrong. When he's in that lineup, man, they do a lot of great things. My pet peeve, the free throws, man. I don't understand why an NBA player has trouble shooting free throws, man. PJ, I know you were a good free throw shooter. Why can't these? I mean, is it all between the ears or what?
I think it's a very mental thing because, I feel like as a shooter, you have to be able to shoot free throws as a shooter. Now, as a big man, yes, it might be a little more focused because, a lot of big men aren't like stretch fives. A lot of big men aren't. And then a lot of big men don't shoot past the free throw line.
Yep.
So you have to think about it. Mitchell Robinson's one of those guys. He doesn't shoot past the free throw line. So I feel like, and if you really look at his free throw, everything's always short.
Yeah.
Everything's always short. So honestly, I feel like he just needs more repetition out there, or New York needs to expand his game a little bit, because if he doesn't shoot outside the paint, of course he's going to have a hard time shooting free throws, especially when there's 60,000 people screaming at you.
Exactly. And I know it's a lot more difficult with the people.
So he could be in the gym shooting 500 free throws a day with nobody else cheering in the gym. It's easy like that. But when you get out and you're playing at the Garden in Boston and you're down 6 and it's 7 minutes left in the game, it's a little bit harder for a 7-foot guy that's already not a good free throw shooter.
And going to the line, knowing your teammates, and everyone knows you're not a good one, so you put extra pressure. They're like, here you go.
And when you say
and that gets people in foul trouble, because you got to also think they're lining up for the miss. It comes off a certain way. Now you got to over the back call. Like it's certain things that stem from that too. So
a lot can happen. And you mentioned him coming up short, hitting front iron and all that. That one free throw, he hit nothing, man. I don't know if you saw that one. I think it hit the very bottom of the net and just went out of bounds. And everyone just looked around like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But everyone's surprised but him.
Yeah.
Everyone is surprised but him, I promise.
All right, PJ, and then let's go to the West, because Indiana and Cleveland's been an interesting series. Indiana is kind of like the team that people kind of like hate, and I don't get it, but I think New York's toughness and mentality, they can definitely, we might see them in the NBA Finals for the first time in a long, long time.
Yeah.
But what do you think? The Thunder's had some trouble. This team that almost won 70 games this year's had trouble with, the Denver Nuggets. And then, who do you think will come out of the West? Who do you think ultimately, and then obviously, with the injury to Steph Curry, the Timberwolves are going to move on. They may have beaten them anyway. But what are your thoughts?
Honestly, it's the playoffs, man. The regular season is the cakewalk. You're supposed to win. If you're that good, you're supposed to win 70 games. When you get to the playoffs, nobody's going to roll over because you won 70 games.
Yeah.
So that's the same with the Cavs. Like, you won 68 games. No one's going to roll over. Indiana's showing that already.
Yeah.
So it's honestly, I don't know. It's tough. I feel like Indiana can get this back in Indiana. I feel like Cleveland will obviously take one at home, but I feel like Indiana's going to close the series at home. I think it all depends on the game tonight with that OKC and Denver game. If Denver gets to win tonight, I don't think OKC beats them in Denver for Game 6. I don't. Yeah. If Denver can still win tonight, I think they'll win again at home.
It's them being so young, the Thunder in Denver, and they're trying to say Jokic is looking old a little bit, or tired, I should say, a little tired, but he's still getting 28 and 12 and 9 or whatever. Tonight will be I think you're right, the telling tale. If the Nuggets pull that off, forget it, man, because I got a feeling Jokic is going to come out and do one of those 30, 22, and 15s tonight.
That's what I was thinking too. We're on the same page because I'm thinking Joker's going to have one of those crazy games tonight.
What do you think of him? I mean,
you're a great
think of
athlete.
that guy?
When you see him, it's like Johnny, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, like when you're watching it, you're like, how is this guy the greatest basketball player playing right now?
On the court, people like players like that'll piss you off so bad because they do nothing spectacular. They do nothing spectacular. He's a normal big man. He just can shoot like a guard and pass like a guard.
Yeah.
But he has post moves. So he's a big man. He's just I would say a generational big man because he can do everything, including dribble, because he brings the ball up the court too.
Brings the ball up court.
So he when he gets the rebound, he's starting a fast break. He's not pitching ahead unless someone's getting a layup.
What it's very interesting. He brings the ball down court. Okay. I mean, he's dribbling up here. It's not like he's down, keeping it low. They just let him bring it down court. Why? They were just, I would think,
and that's where, but that's where he gets you, because you see he's dribbling that high. He'll have Jamal Murray come set a pick and roll. Now that guard that's guarding Jamal Murray thinks the ball is too high. He's trying to get it. Now Jamal Murray has a wide open three.
There you go. He does
that. But even then, even if he does swing back to Jamal Murray, now he goes to set the pick and roll. Now you have to guard Joker in the pick and roll. They have a lot they can do, like especially when Russ is on the court too. Like,
yep,
because Russ is your energy guy. So anything you shoot, he's gonna be on the glass. You got to think Aaron Gordon. Like, they have the pieces. They have the pieces to do it again. But someone was talking about earlier. I watch First Take a lot, so I forgot who said something about it, but I want to say
probably Big Perk.
It might have been Perk actually, but they were talking about how the size of OKC might be an issue for Joker.
Huh.
Because you have to think OKC does the traditional two big lineup.
Yeah, they do.
Because Chet's he's a big, but technically he's a stretch four, but it's not too many 7-1 stretch fours.
No.
Then you have Hartenstein, who's 7 feet, and he's doing everything, rebounding, putbacks, floaters. So I mean, I think it's a lot for Joker, because one, he has to guard too. So So do I think he's getting a little fatigued? Yeah. Do I think it's gonna change the way Joker plays? No.
No, not at all. So if you had to pick today, and I have one more question afterwards. I don't know if Johnny has one more. If you had to pick today, who do you think is going to win the championship? If you just had to pick based on the way people are playing now and the current health situation.
Can I pick two teams?
Sure.
Are they from the
Because I'm going to take one from the East and I'm going to take one from the West. So if Minnesota can finish tonight, or when do they play? Is it tomorrow? No, if they can finish tomorrow and Denver and OKC end up going to a game 7, I think Minnesota has the edge on whoever they play, only because you talk about how young OKC is. You got to think about how young Minnesota is too.
Yeah.
Outside of Mike Conley,
right?
Outside of Rudy Gobert, that's probably your oldest two players.
Yeah.
Then you got to think their best player is the youngest player.
Absolutely, 23 years old. He's a stud.
Their best player is the youngest player. Then you got to think you got Rudy Gobert down there. He's 4-time defensive player of the year, not for nothing. So then you got Jade McDaniels. He's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
Then you got Mike Conley, who's shooting the leather off the ball.
Yeah.
Then you got bench players. You got Naj Reid. You got Walker coming off the bench. They have pieces just like any other team. The only downfall of Minnesota is it's kind of like Boston. They're not hitting shots. They're not going to play well.
Right.
So it's kind of like Boston in a sense, because if they're not shooting the ball well, they probably aren't going to play well. And then if they aren't defending well, the offense isn't going to be there either.
Well, You
Johnny, go ahead.
mentioned real quick the Minnesota. Why can't I think of the guy's name that came over from the Knicks to Minnesota?
Randall. Julius Randle.
Julius Randle.
A stud, and he is on fire right now. And he's the guy that could bring him to that championship game. You know, that special player like him, you know, alongside Anthony Edwards, man.
If you can get Julius Randle to get between 25 and 30 and Anthony Edwards to get between 25 and 30 every night, they'll have a chance to win. Because the others are the ones that you have to worry about. Like it's always the others. Like the Naj Reeds. Like, is he gonna shoot the ball well tonight? Is Mike Conley gonna shoot the ball well tonight? Is Rudy Gobert gonna grab rebounds and actually get putbacks tonight? Like, so it's a lot of other stuff you have to account for because Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle are gonna be them regardless.
Yeah.
All right, and then one last thing before I let you go, and this has been fascinating, and you're a good guest. You should be on First Take. You should be on all the smoke and all the different. You should be. I mean, you know, you have a great insight when it comes to, and you don't have to be humble when it comes to the history of Carolina basketball. Who's Mount Rushmore? You can include yourself of the greatest pure shooters to ever go to Carolina. I'm going to say for you, you're on there.
Okay, I was about to say that I know at the top it's a rough time for me and Wayne Ellington, so I'll put Wayne second.
Okay,
I'll put Wayne second.
It's a tough one.
Wayne Ellington second. Can I? Never mind. Marcus Page.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Berry. And I'm talking about purists.
Pure shooters, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people might not agree with me on this one, but I'm going to go with Leslie McDonald.
Really? I don't agree with you on that.
I'm going to go with Leslie McDonald only because I've had, me and Leslie were roommates. So we were always in the gym together. Like we were always, like we played in the Durham program together. So I've seen Leslie shoot the ball. Like, one of those, he's got one of the purest jump shots like I've ever seen, and it's one of those. If he gets hot, it's scary, you know. And granted, he didn't really have the chance to show it because you know he injuries and you know people kept coming in and recruits were coming in, so he never really got the chance to showcase it as much as he wanted to. But he had flashes. But I'll trade you if I didn't have Leslie there, I would. Trying to think. Shammond Williams.
Yeah, that's what I say. Shammond Williams.
There you go.
He'd be there. Or Dante Calabria. That's old school, but
yeah, I watched him play, but I knew he could shoot, but I'd never watched him play. So I've actually seen clips of Shammond and I've played against Shammond in open gyms. So
Shammond's a good choice. Shammond's a really good choice. That's really strong. And then before I let you go, do you have anything you want to push or plug or anything you want? I know you have some announcement coming up in the future you were excited about, but I think you make the announcement when you're ready.
Yeah, nothing right now, but okay. I do got a couple things coming up, but I don't want to say anything just yet.
Well, let us know. We'll put it out there too, you know, on our socials or whatever we can do to help to let people know once you announce it. We'll share that for you. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate it.
And you said he should be on First Take. He's on Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny L. Man, I mean, this doesn't
it's all downhill from here. I know that. You know, you start with us, and then you know you're at the peak, and then everything else is easy.
That's right.
We appreciate you, PJ.
Go ahead, thank you.
Can we do 2 more minutes? You got time?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. This is gonna. I'm talking about the greatest all-around basketball player in the world. Who is
here we go. Wait a second.
Wait, so is this the GOAT topic?
Somewhat. I'm saying who is the greatest all-around basketball player? That player that could possibly, and could possibly play every position on the court and excel at it in your eyes.
Well, I'm biased about the whole GOAT thing. I'm a Kobe guy. Kobe is like Yeah, I'm a Kobe guy. But that person you're talking about, I mean, I would have to say LeBron James.
Yeah.
Only because you said play the 5 and doing exceptionally well. He did it kind of the last 2-3 years.
Right.
So yeah, I would say LeBron James.
But he's just built to play any position.
He's 6'9", 260, and you can't even call him a point forward because he's not that.
And he's like 63 years old now, and he's still the best player on the court. But Jared, I'm not saying that Michael is not the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
I saw what you did there. You're like, who's the best player that was born in Akron, who also played in Cleveland, then went to Miami? Like, you basically handed it to him, like, say LeBron.
So Jared, you're on the Michael Jordan wave.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, you can't lose. And look, you can make the argument for a lot of long. He wins the longevity award for sure, and he's one of the greatest.
No, for sure.
You can't lose 6 finals and be the GOAT. You just can't. And granted, he got to finals that he probably shouldn't have been, and but you can't win. And like a lot of the players who played with him or around the same time as Jordan, and maybe some crossover with LeBron, they say they feared Jordan. They felt like if there's a close game, they're going to lose if Jordan's playing. And
nobody fears Bron.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. When I guarded Bron, you know how I looked up to the matchup. I was actually excited, and I wasn't starstruck. I wasn't any of that because honestly, I had heard so much because it was LeBron and the year that I played. This is the same year Bron they came back from down 3-1 in the finals. This is that same year. So I got Bron in his prime, and he's strong. He's an ox, but at the same time, I think with guarding him, you can't be scared, and that's what I don't think his people fear him. They fear his game because his game at times is very, very aggressive, and then then he has those times where he's getting ticky-tack fouls or he's flopping all over the place. But I mean, a lot of the times you just have to stand your ground with guys like that, of course.
Stand your ground, and this I'll end it here. I've never seen a guy like him take it to the basket, and no one wants to get in front of him when he does that. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Excuse me, Charles Barkley in his prime. No one want to get in his way. I know what you mean. Auburn Charles Barkley, ain't nobody getting in his way.
Yeah, I heard Auburn Charles Barkley was like Zion Williamson.
Yeah, Barkley was great.
And pushing 300 at 6'4".
Yeah.
By the gym.
Well, we'll have
PJ. We appreciate you.
We'll have him on for our argument on the GOAT sometime. That'd be good.
Who with me?
Well, let me mention our advertisers, and we'll end this show here. Pure Energy Fitness. Blaze Thompson has spent 25 years helping everyone from beginners to pro athletes build strength, resilience, and lifelong fitness through smart functioning training. Go to pureenergyfitness.com, and he is located in Greensboro, right off of Lawndale. Imperial Marketing Solutions, my man Jimmy Snow. He's sale of equipment sales of new reconditioned computers, IT hardware, reconditioned equal to brand new. He gives a 3-year warranty, out-of-state drop shipping, and payment terms available. Call Jimmy Snow, 315-345-8349. Schenk and Torrance Insurance, located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire Triad and state. Brian Torrance specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance. You can call him at 336-310-1320. And Tee It Up Indoor on Battleground Ave. 3 new simulators with over 100,000 golf courses to play. Go see my buddy Davis Troxler over on Battleground Ave, and he's got a full golf store inside as well, and he does lessons and has camps. And that is it, folks.
Well, we got real quick, Surf Hippie Fishing, surfhippiefishing.com for all your fishing gear, tournaments, everything you need. Surf Hippie Fishing with a PH, and also Elite Performance Chiropractic. 2 locations, Greensboro and Winston-Salem. Former NFL player Jeremy Phillips is the chiropractor there. They'll get you back better than ever. Maybe PJ, if you need to go there, he'll hook you up. And PJ, again, thank you so much. Sorry you had to hear all the ads at the very end, but 2 minutes for you. All right, PJ, seriously, you did a great job. I'm going to post it here in the next 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good one.
See you.